Sometimes God calls you into a season of stillness, a season of silence, and it's not always because He wants you to be quiet and not to be heard, but sometimes it's because He wants to reveal something for you. I feel like when you're in a season of silence, it allows for revelations to be revealed. And I say this because I've experienced many seasons of silence, but I feel like this one has been really intense, not in a way where it's intense that it's hard, but in a way that it's revealed a lot of things that I feel like I've been wanting to run from or wanting to kind of brush under the rug. And I think sometimes when you get into a period of your life where God needs to be doing a certain type of work, and He is doing a certain type of work on you, silence is needed. And silence is a really hard space to navigate, especially for me when I'm someone who likes to be visible, likes to be talkative, likes to be engaging, likes to be a helping hand, and kind of likes to always be available. And you learn that in certain periods of your life, you can attach availability to comfort. And in this season of silence, I feel like God has been trying His best to put me in a space where I'm outside of my comfort zone, because when you're outside of your comfort zone, that is where growth thrives. And it's important to sit in a space where you are growing silently. One thing I've realized in my walk with God is sometimes He doesn't just go quiet. I think we tend to realize, we come to this realization that we think, oh no, God has left me, or God has gone silent on me, or He's not answering my prayers. And sometimes we don't see it in a way where maybe God is calling us to be silent, and He wants us to mimic that silence by Him being silent. I hope that makes sense. That literally just came to me now, to be honest. And I think when He calls you to be quiet, is because He's calling you to step back, to stop talking, to stop explaining yourself, and to kind of stop reacting and really sit in that silence and truly see what comes from being quiet. I feel like when you're loud and reactive and constantly going and feeding into certain things, there's not enough time for you to be hearing because you're constantly reacting. And if you're watching this video right now, I truly feel like God is or has called you into a season of silence, a season of peace, a season of shutting down, and not shutting out, just shutting down certain things. You know how like when sometimes your laptop, is such a crazy analogy, but sometimes, you know, for your laptop to work, you need to restart it a couple times. Sometimes you restart it and it doesn't really work, and then you just need to completely shut it down, leave it for a couple days, and then when you open it up, it's working brand new, like nothing ever happened. I feel like in the physical, that is also something that we need to do. And sometimes it may be a couple days, sometimes it may be a couple months, sometimes it may be a year, but I think it's important to understand where, how long you need to be silent for, and how long is kind of you not really questioning the timing, but more so being obedient to the silent period and the kind of space that you're in your life. And I feel like for me, it's been a real interesting place to be in, because you can see that like I'm actually like, I'm not sitting here just coming to you and saying, oh, this is another, you need to be silent and God is calling you to no, this is something that I'm truly going through right now. And I'm just sitting here really taking in the fact that this season that I've been called into has been a challenging one, and I'm still currently in it. And I'm someone who tends not to speak in this season, but I feel like right now I feel called to speak on this. And especially in the silent season as well, I feel like God calls me to speak when needed. I don't speak on my own accord. I don't speak for the sake of speaking. I don't film for the sake of filming. But right now, I really feel called to just kind of speak on just being in this season and how to kind of combat it, what that looks like, and the struggles. Do you know what I mean? I feel like when you're being called into this season, sometimes it can look like, because sometimes it's like, what is a silent season? Does it just mean I'm quiet and I just don't say anything? It doesn't mean I cut everyone off. And I feel like a silent season, it looks different to everyone. For some people, it could be looking like you feel like you're in a space where you don't feel like you should be explaining yourself anymore. For some, it may look like stepping away from certain conversations where you would have continued and tried to fight and really just pushed yourself into a conversation that didn't need to be happened just because to save face or to feel like you need to, once again, that over explaining yourself. And sometimes you're in the season to be pulled away from noises and distractions because God has you on a particular mission that you need to be focused on. And because you have so much noise coming from social media, from friends, from family, from work, you can't really hear what the next step in the mission is. And when God has a mission for you and when he wants you to go a certain way in your life, sometimes silence is needed so you can know what the next step is and not have someone else in your life dictate you on what path you need to be going on. And sometimes silences can also just be for you to reflect and observe. I think it's so important that at certain periods in your life, you need to sit and really observe, how am I mentally? How am I physically? How am I spiritually? Where am I going in life? What habits are taking me on a path of death, a path of destruction, and what habits are taking me to my calling? And I feel like you need to do kind of like, what is it? You need to do an MOT check. If you haven't done an MOT check, sit with yourself and do an MOT check. Check where you're at mentally, check where you're at physically, check where you're at with the people around you, who's pouring into you, who's draining you. You really need to think about what these things are and how to combat these things. But if you are kind of distracted by noise, by people, by work, by all of these things, how do you know what path you're walking on? You're kind of just walking blindly without actually realizing there was supposed to be a left turn. Do you know what I mean? Because someone has told you, oh, no, the map said go this way. When God is telling you, no. 5 miles ago, I told you to take a left. And because you were so focused on other people, or because you were looking down in your phone, you missed the turning. And now I have to reroute you back so we can get you back on track. And I feel like that is the core of when God calls you into a silent period, because you need to be rerouted back onto that path that is needed for you. And I think the most powerful part about being in a space of, in a season of silence. Sorry if you see me itching my leg. I'm currently in Jamaica right now and these mosquitoes are eating me up. Yeah. But sometimes in this, and not even sometimes, all of the time, in a season of silence, God will reveal to you something. You're not going to come out of this season empty. You're going to come out of this season with something. God will never put you in a season to make you come out with nothing. I promise you that. And in this season of silence, God will give you something that will help you move towards your calling, whether it's about people, understanding their intentions, understanding their character, their loyalty, where you are in people's life. I think people play a big role on our day-to-day life and how we operate, like our friends, our family, our acquaintances, our work colleagues. You're constantly dealing with people on a day-to-day life, and sometimes God, it puts you in a place so you can understand how to categorize the people that are around you. Once again, what I said, the MOT check, you need to be doing that on the people around you. How are they pouring into you? Are they pouring into you? Do they benefit your life? Are they dragging you to a place of destruction? Are they uplifting you? And when these things are revealed to you, it allows you to put people into categories, not because you want to, how do I describe it? Not because you feel like you want to demote people or promote people or wherever it is, but so you know how to function, so that you are operating from self first and then people second. And sometimes you have to categorize people. Sometimes God will reveal to you situations. What's real? What's manipulation? What's not meant for you? What is meant for you? I think sometimes you can sit with a situation and really let that play in on your head back and forth, because there's the reality of what the situation is, and then there's the truth. And God wants to reveal to you what the truth is about certain situations in your life. Sometimes you don't want to see that something is manipulation, when in reality, that's what it is. And sometimes the person may not even realize that they're doing it to you. But a lot of people go through things. A lot of people have struggles. A lot of people project. But in this season, God is calling you to set boundaries. Set boundaries. Protect your spirit. Protect your mind. Protect your heart, so that you are walking wholeheartedly. And sometimes God is revealing to you things about yourself, your triggers, your wounds, your growth, your strength, where you're lacking. And I think the most important thing when you do a full MOT about your life is truly understanding where you sit. I'm so big on understanding and knowing yourself, because the only other person that will truly know you more than yourself is God. But it's so important to understand where you're coming from, and it's so important to stop reacting, because when you stop reacting to things, you start observing. You start to see things what you would have missed if you would have just been continued to talk. Sometimes it's important to just be silent, take a moment, be still, and look. Some people are observant in a way where they're observant about the wrong things. They're observant about what you got going on in your life. How successful are you? What more do you have them than? That's jealousy. That's envy. Some people are observant in a way of, how is this person showing up for me? How am I showing up for myself? What is triggering me? That is understanding. To understand yourself is one of the biggest things, especially as you continue to walk in this life. This life it's not a perfect life. I promise you that. This world is not a perfect world. And there's so much power in understanding yourself and understanding your journey and understanding where you are at in a particular season and what that season is trying to teach you. And I think one of the biggest things that I see and that I saw within myself is that I tried to run away from silence because it was uncomfortable. I feel like I'm someone who is always likes to show up and be around and be visible. And I didn't realize how much that took a toll on me and how much that affected me inwardly. Because when it came to a point where I needed to be poured into, I was looking for cups to fill me, and there were no cups. And I sat there empty thinking, okay, who's going to fill me up now? And in reality, I had to realize no one could fill me. And that was uncomfortable. That was sad. It felt lonely. It still does feel lonely. Do you know what I mean? But you understand that you have God who you can lean on, who you can speak to, who you can pour into, because I promise you, he will pour back into you what you give into him. And I feel like I wasn't able to do that fully until I was put into a season where God said, be quiet, be still, and know that I am God. And in that, it's allowed me to be able to sit without defending myself, sit without wanting or needing to be understood. Because a lot of times I feel like I'm misunderstood and I feel like I need to explain, oh no, but I didn't mean it this way. It's draining. It's draining. And also I felt like I needed to be in control. A lot of you out there have these same tendencies that I have also struggled with. We want to be in control. We want to defend ourselves. We want to defend our characters. We want to be understood. We want to be loved the correct way. And when you're in this season and this uncomfortable season where you can't focus on those things, you really need to switch those things and make those not your focus and focus on trusting God and being silent. It's hard. It's hard, and it can really push you to a state where you want to go back to the noise. But I'm here to tell you today, if you're seeing this video, do not go back to that noise. God removed you from the noise for a reason. There's a reason why you're feeling like you need to be in a silent season, or why you are currently in a silent season. Silence builds trust. And you need to learn to trust God, and you need to learn how to trust yourself. It forces you to lean on God because there's no one else for you to lean on in a silent period. There's been times where I felt like, why don't I just come out of this season? Why don't I just go back into being loud, being over explaining, being available? And every single time that I thought about it, God pulled me back and said, be still and know that I am God. There's so much power in being still and letting God work. And it's time for you to let God work. It's time for me to let God work and let him do his job. It's a lot. It truly is. And if God is calling you to be silent right now, don't be afraid of the silence. Lean into the silence. Lean into the quiet. Because I guarantee you, you will find peace. You will gain clarity. And you will see God at the end of that silence. I promise you, as much as it feels uncomfortable, as much as it feels lonely, as much as it is a struggle right now to sit in this silence, you need to sit in it. And do not leave this period. Do not leave this season before it's time. Everything in life has a season. This season could feel like it's been stretched over years. This season could have been 2 months. You may have just started the season yesterday. You may have just said yes to the season today as you're watching this video. But see it through. Be holy. Be grounded. Be patient in this season, because I promise you there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And that light may not always be as bright, but I guarantee you when that light comes, it will bring clarity. So hang in there, guys, because I am also hanging in there. I'm telling you, this season is I've literally been saying to myself, like, this is one of the hardest seasons that I've ever gone through, just because of how much has been revealed to me, and having to sit with that, having to sit with those revelations is hard. That is another chapter within itself. First is to sit in silence, and then to sit with what you've seen and what God has revealed. Ugh. But just know that you've got this. Keep pushing and stay silent. Okay? I love you guys, and God bless.